At episode 33, the force of patience. What patience does in a relationship. But before we get into that this evening, I will want our coach to greet the viewers.
Viewers, you're welcome. It's that Wednesday again, all around the world, wherever you are, coming onto this platform. It's that moment when we share together, release some tips that will help you. Don't forget that this year we are celebrating our 25th marriage anniversary, and it's going to happen here in Cape Town on 3rd of November. And she also is going to be doing her 50th birthday. So it is double celebration, double jubilee for us, our golden jubilee for our birthday, and 25 years, which is silver jubilee for our marriage. So it's a good celebration. Our friends all over the world are going to gather in Cape Town, and you can also be part of it. Get to know how you can be part of it. Welcome again. We're dealing today on the force of patience in relationship. It really surprised me one day. I realized that one of my friends got wedded on a Saturday, and by Sunday morning he called me and said the wedding is over. I said, what do you mean by the wedding is over? He said he just divorced his wife that he married yesterday. It might sound like a mystery to you, but that really happened. I witnessed that particular incident. And one of the things that makes such incident to happen is impatience, lack of patience in relationship. Many relationships do not last because of impatience. And today, we want to bring this particular episode onto you to let you know that if your relationship is going to go to double digit in age, in longevity, you need patience. Relationship is a journey of patience. Patience makes you healthier, and patience makes you to endure and overcome every kind of frustration in your relationship. Patience is that ingredient that will make you to empathize. Patience is that ingredient that will make your relationship to last. Now the question here is, what is patience? We're going to define what patience is all about, and we are going to give you one or two keys that will help you to develop patience in your relationship. Let me begin by definition of patience. For me, patience is the capacity that will help you to accept, endure, tolerate the idiosyncrasies, the weaknesses, the attitude, the crisis that comes into your relationship. So I believe that if you have that capacity, you will be able to endure, to accept, to go through the things that opposes your relationship. So we are talking about that capacity in you that helps you to take the nonsense that your spouse brings on, those particular things that will make others to throw in the towel and walk away from the relationship. Patience is that which will help you. Woman of God, let me bring you in here. Talk to us about patience also.
Yeah, I want to say that patience is your capacity to wait for your partner or your spouse to come right. Patience is your capacity to take in the content, what you can take in before you blow off. Patience is your ability to make excuses for your partner until your partner comes to see his or her weak point. So patience is a very important key in relationship. Patience is something that without it, you're going to mess everything up. And since we know that we are different people from different places who come together to become one.
From different backgrounds.
From a different background. So patience becomes a number one key, because your spouse has his own way of thinking, has his own a way of doing things. And maybe the way he or she does his thing is different from the way you were taught from your father's house to do things. So patience is the key that will assist you to look at your spouse problems and wait or make excuses for him or her until he or she starts seeing with the same glasses that you are seeing with.
Wow. That just so classic, because it could be the reason why so many people are not yet married. I think the issue of patience, because I've come to realize that classical men and women, they find it difficult to marry because they can't take nonsense. People who cannot take nonsense cannot last in marriage. People who have no ability to accept the things, they are so structured. You see, when you become so structured in your life that you are not given to spontaneous actions and changes that comes from the other partner, you find it very difficult to marry. There are people, you just look at them, even in their singlehood, you know that they cannot make marriage because they are too sophisticated, they are too structured, they are too patterned in their way of doing things that they have no accommodation for any other person to come into their system and structure of their life. And that is where patience really comes into play. You must know how to develop patience in your relationship if your relationship will be taken to another level. That takes us to the other aspect of this program, and we want to look at it. How do we develop? What are the keys that we can engage in developing patience? Because I believe that none of us was born with patience. You remember babies, how babies cry. Babies are very touchy. You touch them, they cry, all this way. You know, babies are like that. Babies have low volume. They don't have high capacity of tolerance. They don't have that. And there are people who are grown in their body. You look at them, their body is huge. Their age is up there. But their level of patience still remain undeveloped from the day they were born. So you touch them, they cry. You touch them, they want to break. You cut them, they break the television, they break the car, they break everything. Every breakable in the house, they just break it down just because of impatience. If you look at South Africa where we are, the number of this one killing 4 of his children, this other woman poisoning 4 of the children because he saw the spouse with another. It's all about impatience. When people become impatient, they become destructive. They become hurtful to the society. So let's look at it today. How can we develop patience in our relationship with one another? Woman of God, can you help us? What are the keys?
Yeah, I think I want to mention the keys before we start explaining the key of true love.
True love. True love is one of the keys. Write it down if you're writing.
Knowledge and understanding.
Knowledge of understanding of your spouse. Great.
And also learning together.
Learning and sharing together.
Learning and sharing together.
That's awesome.
I think I want to start with the first point.
The true love.
The true love.
Okay, go ahead. Shoot.
For you to really come together in the first place, I believe that what brought the two of you together is love.
L-O-V-E.
Yeah, it's what brought the two of you together. The decision to be married is because of love for one another or one for each other. So now love becomes a key, an important key. It is love that will make you overlook your spouse problems. It is the love you have for your spouse that will give you patience to endure whatever your spouse is doing that you think is not right, or you think it's not the way things should be done. So the love that you have for your spouse will make you to wait patiently for him or her. The love that you have for your spouse will make you to correct your spouse in love, not walking out from the relationship.
That's true.
The love you have for your spouse will make you to make excuses that no, my spouse along the line will come right. Even when you know that this person is still going this way, but you have faith. Let me use the word faith. That one day my spouse is going to come right. It's just like a mother and a child. You understand? Maybe your child committed a crime. That your child committed a crime does not mean you throw the child into the bin.
Even when the magistrates and judges are throwing them away.
Even when the child has been sentenced and is in jail.
Yes.
You see some parents, they buy shoes, they pants, they buy this, they still go to visit.
That's love.
They go to encourage the child, saying, no, don't worry, you will be fine. Don't worry. A mother who loves the child will not condemn the child. You correct the child to say, oh, what you did is wrong. But don't worry, there is still a way out for you. There is a way out for you. So love helps us. The key of love becomes a very important key in you being patient with your spouse.
Let me come in there. True love is very powerful. You remember that 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 4 says that love is patient. Love is patient. I'm not talking about emotion of love. I'm talking about true love. Remember, we're not just saying love, because there are several things today that people are calling love that is not love. Some love are chemical love. Some love are just emotional. And emotional love are not true love, because it is subject to change when the things that you're looking up, when your emotion changes. You know, that's why we need to understand that it is true love. True love is tested in crisis. True love is tested in crisis, because when true love is released in crisis, that love turns into patience. You need to get what I'm talking about, because sometimes you don't know the truth or the genuinity of the love that you have for somebody until there is crisis. You know, in the honeymoon, that's not true. The love have not been tested. In the beginning of the relationship, when you are still receiving accolade of your beauties and your structures and your beauty and all the rest of them, that is not yet a test of true love. True love is tested when you are going through crisis. So it is at that place of crisis that patience is given birth to. So you need to understand that true love becomes patient in the furnace of crisis and opposition. So it's important, as the woman of God have said, that it's important that we understand that the key of true love is the way out. The second key that she mentioned about was about knowledge and understanding of your spouse. That's very powerful. Sometimes people don't have patience with one another if they don't know one another. It is the knowledge. I'm talking about specialized knowledge of your spouse. I'm not talking about the kind of knowledge that everybody outside of your spouse knows your spouse. No. You that know your spouse, there are things that you know about, specialized knowledge you have about your spouse that makes you to wait, for you to be patient. So it is important that you learn your spouse. It is important that you understand one another. Take out time and understand one another, and you're going to see that patience is going to develop. Woman of God.
Yeah, for instance, maybe if you don't have the understanding of the weaknesses of your spouse, the areas where your spouse is weak, then you find out that in a little problem, you just want to move.
That's
you want to go. You want to break the relationship. But if you study, if you know your spouse, will say, okay, this is the weakness of my spouse, and I'm working on this. Even when your spouse demonstrates that weakness, you have patience to say, okay, there is a way we're going to go about it, I know when I take this way or when I do this, it's going to come right.
You know, I always say that you don't know your spouse until you know the weaknesses of your spouse. The knowing all about the ability of your spouse is not enough, because you're not going to be challenged by his ability. The greatest challenge you're going to have in your relationship is all about the weakness. So you first of all, you've seen the abilities, fine. Don't just move big because you know the ability of him or her. You get to know the weaknesses, because the weaknesses are the things that are going to take you into the crucible of trials and challenges. And it is there that your love have to be transmuted to transform to patient. So you need to understand that you need to know the weakness of your spouse. The other key that we're talking about is sharing together, learning together. And this is very, very crucial. This is the issue that breaks the barriers. Because you see, each and every one of us, we are highly opinionated people. You have your opinion, your spouse has his opinion on the same matter. It is normal, it is okay. But when you begin to learn together, share together, talk together, exchange your ideas, begin to learn each other and learn things about that particular thing that you have opinion about, your opinions will begin to come together to become a cohesive perspective, a situation whereby each and every one of you are looking at the thing at the same way. But if you don't study together, if you don't learn together, it will be very difficult for you to work in that particular patience with one another. So we have talked about true love, we have talked about understanding and knowledge, we talked about the issue of learning together. Woman of God, do you have anything to talk about the learning together as the word of your ending?
Yeah, I think what I want to say there is when you learn together, you will speak the same language.
Good.
And when you speak the same language, you come to the same understanding. And that will help you also to correct the weaknesses of each other. When you sit together, you check, you have the same opinion about a matter or concerning a matter. So you won't have different views about things, which leads to confusion.
Great. I want you to see this. I want you to see this because that's the way I'm ending up right now. Especially this last point is very key. You see, you remember when we started early, when we came together, we have different opinions over dressing. We have different opinion. I am a wife. We were in a church then that were very religious about dressing. The church is a wonderful religious idea about dressing, especially the woman. And so my wife also bought into it. I also was going with it because I was under authority. But when I got married, I discovered that the woman I was looking at is not really the woman that I want. So I come back to the house, I see a different woman, and when I go out there, I see all different women who are attracting me. I came back to her, I said, hey, lady, you're losing me, because the ladies I'm seeing outside, they are better than the one that I have inside. And then we begin to have issues on this. So we decided, okay, for us to sort out this problem, let's bring out the Bible. We begin to study through the Bible. We got through all the chapters, all the different books that talks about dressing, and then we begin to see what the Word of God says concerning the dressing of a woman. And it was then we came out with our understanding from the Word of God, and we discovered that our opinions accumulated into revelation. And that has been our key today. And why I'm sharing this is that every problem can be sorted this way. If you learn together, if you share together, if you fellowship together, if you study together, you're going to come to a place wherein you will be patient with one another. Our time is over, and we can continue with the limits of the time that we have right now. And share this particular video. Share it if you're on Facebook. Create a watch party. Even after this particular live stream, you can on your own create a watch party and let it circulate. Or you go to our YouTube Life Mending Word Mission and share it on Instagram, on other social media. And when you do that, somebody is going to be blessed. You don't know who. Somebody is going to be blessed by this particular broadcast. And we believe that you are our partner in spreading this good news. Thank you, DMG, for all your effort and your input in making this happen with your studio. One World Travel Point, Raf Cheek. Thank you for every one of you for making this happen. See you next week.